Hello and welcome back to Fireside Improv, chapter 35 of this Karl Franz saga. The Empire has almost been returned back to peace. It has been a long road, starting with plague lands, rebellions, betrayals, invasions from woods, ancient spirits. Yet all of this has been put aside from the threat that has poured in from the north, from the Chaos Waste, laying destruction to Kislev that still lays in utter ruins. But now it's time to fully strike back. The demons are weakened, the Norscans are weakened. The Emperor's heart is heavy and is seeking not only peace at this point, but vengeance. Vengeance for all of the lives that have been lost. The cities that have been razed time and time again.
To the provinces.
The demons will suffer
Your word
10
is
times
command.
worse
Guided by
than the
Sigmar.
suffering they have caused.
Praise be to
Gusal will
Sigmar.
be the first to strike out, pushing back in across Norden. The Bretonnians did well clearing out around the Bay of Blades. Balthazar Gelt is pushing forward to continue taking the settlements along the sea. The Emperor himself is going to wait just a touch longer for some more soldiers to sail across the sea and join him before taking down Cormac. He does have Eldred coming up to act as a blocker and a distraction as well. Yet despite the camaraderie that has been found in these times of great sadness, he knows that the dwarves are still sitting in Empire territory. He knows they are too deeply rooted, too stubborn to give them back at the end of this dark times. And so he continues to build up northern Sylvania in preparation for the inevitable conflict against the dwarves. Cormac had the strange audacity to attack the Emperor directly instead of trying to retreat or push forward to a less defended settlement. The Emperor is confused, but he just goes ahead and takes down that demonic army, which he will now wait for Eldred to join him, let his men recuperate just a little before pushing up towards the Grayling Moot and Doomkeep. While most of the settlements will be razed, the Doomkeep does sit at a lovely strategic location at a pass between the mountains from the further northern reaches of Norscan and into the northern Chaos Wastes, which will be a perfect place to have another outpost. Balthazar Gelt also continues his march across
I shall be victorious!
the peninsula to take the Bay of Blades as an outpost.
The nation calls.
Awaiting orders. Sigmar is with us!
And in the Empire territories, Norden
True
is
servant of
reclaimed,
Sigmar.
signaling the final push of the last settlements to be liberated. Peasant folk welcome the armies with great
Archlector,
joy.
I will go.
What?
Step to it.
They've been living in deep, corrupted forests, hiding from the demons and the Norskins that have run rampant, as lava has burst from the very ground, poisoning everything. But new hope has been rekindled, with the armies marching back in. With another host marching along the southern banks of the river, Ralph
Protector of
does
the weak.
change his course away from Wolfenburg to
By
intercept,
Sigmar!
Yes, my lord. It is for the best.
while Valmir
Onwards.
retreats just a little in order
does the
to
Emperor bid?
replenish his soldiers.
What orders?
I will marshal the men. On march!
In the north,
I see
the
no
Emperor
other option.
begins his march
To
while
battle.
Eldred sits behind to heal up. The Emperor
What?
hopes to march on the Doomkeep, with Eldred marching behind towards the Grayling Moot, before together marshalling their final attack from the Doomkeep and pushing in both directions.
It is time.
Balthasar Gelt has two armies just to his north, threatening his ability to push further into Kislev, despite the fact that the Bay of Blades isn't of much concern to hold. He still wishes to deal with those armies first.
I am the Supreme Patriarch. Pick up the pace. Very well, I will do this.
I will do anything for Sigmar. The Empire!
The demonic host has retreated and have begun the lovely game of cat and mouse through the Empire's territory. Ralph
Ever
has no
vigilant.
choice but to try to hunt him
Fate
down.
shields us!
They can't simply let them wander around. Having been through this before, Thaedric is called upon at Guggenheim
As
to
you
act
say, sir.
as a force to either distract or catch the fleeing army through the Empire, and hopefully can cut them down sooner rather than later.
To the
However,
provinces.
this does completely open up other territories for Valmir to take advantage of.
Praise be to Sigmar!
Castle von Raukon is next for Gustal to reclaim. leaving only Wolfenburg as the last settlement, still under the control of the Demon and Norscan forces. The land has already begun to heal under the care of Gustav. In the far north, Balthasar Gelt continues to push on forward to take down the combined demonic and Norscan threat. As the Emperor does the same. Balthasar Gelt is the first to be attacked. He is able to defeat the demonic army that is there. Despite Balthasar Gelt's victory and the fact that the Great Troll has marched his army away from the settlements, there's still another one that is coming through the northern pass. And Balthasar Gelt feels he cannot quite push forward safely, so he's going to wait just a little bit before making that push. Further west, the Emperor does push forward and easily dispatches the force before him. They're well trained at this by now.
The Empire.
I only serve the changer.
Yet he doesn't feel confident also to quite push ahead.
I am Franz.
He waits for Eldred to make that push.
On march!
Deeper in the Empire, the demonic horde has continued to push further and further in.
Now,
But Thadric is there, ready to catch them, and together with Ralph, does dispatch that threat as well.
the Empire!
Which allows Ralph to back right on up towards Kappelberg to settle it and complete Talebekland's reintegration into a safe and prosperous empire.
To the provinces!
Champion of the faith.
With challenging recruitment efforts in the depths of Norska, Eldred reorganizes his army to send 4 elite soldiers back from the homeland so that he can push forward
Bring me to my
along
men.
with the Emperor. As the longer they wait, the Emperor knows that it just becomes harder and harder
Pick
to
up the
actually
pace.
root the demons out, as they too get reinforcements from the demonic planes and the chaos wastes. Facing a similar issue, Balthasar Geltz is forced to retreat, as there is another force that has made its way towards the Bay of
Onwards.
Blades. Between holding position and pushing forward, there are too many armies still to push ahead, and so defense is his only option.
Protector of the weak.
Back over in Castle von Rauken, the demonic force has again strayed a little too far.
the
Gustal hopes
Emperor!
to be able to catch him, and does. Gustal marches his soldiers forward with the fate of the offensive in their hands. A victory here opens the path forward to continue to push, reclaim the rest of the Empire territory, and help Kislev regain their homeland. Taking too many casualties here, however, will stall everything and push back and cause many lives to be lost. The battle proves to be messy as little skirmishes spread out throughout the field. It seems to go in the initial favor of Gustal, as they're able to pick apart, piece by piece, the enemy. Reinforcements that were a little far and confused at the start of the battle have streamed in for the Norskins and Chaos forces, but is it too little, too late to push back the Empire forces?
Yes, sir! By Ulrich's wrath! Moving now! Crossbowmen! We strike! Forward, men! Ulrich! Mind their tentacles!
The Empire handgunners find the perfect angle to make short work of the Norscan infantry. And meanwhile, the leader of the Chaos Forces has fled the field, getting chased down. And victory is ultimately achieved without their leader and their infantry getting slaughtered. It is now open to push and help Kislev regain their homeland. With the victory, Wolfenburg is open for the taking, But Gustel's going to leave that for other generals. He's going to start to take and lead the rebuilding.
Your word is my command.
First of Zavastra, which will be eventually handed over to Tsarina Katerin, but then over to Bekathan and hopefully meet up
Protector of the weak.
with Ralph Koch in Kappelberg,
Honored to serve.
where together they will be able to meet up and start fully reclaiming Kislev.
By the comet!
In terms of Wolfenburg, Valmy will just need a little bit more time before pushing out, but Wolfenburg will not have the strength to hold him off. It would be an easy victory, as a bit of a buffer has been established now.
You summon me.
At the urging of the Emperor, Louis Leoncoeur has led an expedition to the northern reaches of Norska and has started helping with the purging of the Norskans and the demons of Norska. Between the Emperor and Louis Leoncoeur, it should be only a matter of time until the full land is purged and the coastlines of the Empire and Bretonnia are safe. Luen has established an outpost in these dark, forsaken lands, where he can continue to launch further expeditions either up into northern Chaos Wastes, or continue to push back in Norska itself, while he deals
Bring
with
me
the
to
far
my men.
north. The Emperor continues
I am
his
Franz.
march forward
They will obey.
against the Greyling Moot.
Raise your weapons!
The Emperor strikes hard and fast, eliminating the paltry forces that surround the Greyling Moot, ensuring that they do not have the time to fight together as one large horde. Instead, they are picked apart piece by piece through his speed and cunning.
In the name of Magnus! Into battle! To war! To the provinces! Yes, a sound plan! Men, war calls!
And together, the Emperor alongside Eldred do manage to raise the Greyling Moot to the ground, opening the path ahead to the Doomkeep, where another outpost can be established as a base to continue marching forth and purging the rest of Norska.
Do not waste my potential.
Along the southern coast,
Ulrich's
Balthasar
will.
Geltz marches over to another demonic horde, the last one in the area. A victory here, just as before in the Empire, will open up a path ahead to make serious progress. Balthasar Gelt lines up his artillery and handgunners to try to make the most of them, leaving gaps in his line. His cannons in particular are right in the front of his lines. He is hopeful that he will manage to let his lords keep them safe so that they can continue to fire directly unimpeded. However, it doesn't appear that the Norskins really want to march forward. They are content just kind of chilling back and being destroyed. Something that Balthasar Gelt is perfectly happy with.
Slay them! Pervert them!
The lines are being pressed hard, and Balthasar Gelt is doing everything he can to keep that line from shattering. But his archlectors do start to fall, and Balthasar Gelt begins to flee. Gelt does return to the battle, but his magic doesn't seem to be enough to truly turn the tide of this battle. Despite many of the chaff of the enemy falling to the magic, the great beasts don't seem to be sufficiently affected to turn the tide. But the cavalry that has been held in reserve come into the fight to try to make their presence known and take down the weakened beasts. A little hope still does remain as the right flank manage to hold, and if they manage to take down the trolls and dragon ogres, they might still be able to pull off a victory, though not the resounding victory that they would have hoped for, in order to continue to push into Kislev. And ultimately, victory was achieved. Against all odds in the middle of the fight, it looked like they weren't going to be able to pull it out, and yet, by the skin of their teeth, they managed. After the victory, Balthasar does hunt down the survivors and takes them down. The battles were not without great loss. There is no chance that he will be able to push forward in this condition.
That will work.
He retreats back to the Bay of Blades to recuperate, and yet a victory was a victory. Another force was annihilated. He knows, along with the Emperor, that every victory brings opportunity. Kislev, Tsarina Katerin, has begun to reclaim her lands, as she does not have as many enemies to deal with, as they are tied up and defeated by Empire forces. The demons are getting pushed back from all sides. Their forces are wearing thin, and even in the far north, the King of Bretonnia has also started to push back deep in those Norscan territories. The Empire is almost at peace. Just a little bit more fighting before the attention can be turned to pushing back the dwarves out of territory that is rightfully the Emperor's.